Let's go. This gonna be a good one. Hey, turn me up. Turn me up a little bit. It's another one. When the knob is broken, conversation.
I think we done broke the knob.
Knob is broken,
It's
conversation.
we done broke the knob.
Knob is broken, conversation.
Welcome to Broken Knob.
Knob is broken, conversation. We done broke the knob.
Pull up a chair with us.
Come on.
Go ahead and share with us.
Yeah.
No holding back. Go ahead and take it there with us.
Right.
The knob has been broken when the truth is spoken. We dropping gems, we focus. Know this conversation's open. Steaming like a pot, we super hot, we scorching. Call the fire marshal, we got this a smoking. Anytime, any place. It's Ian Wayne J. We got something to say.
You silly. We done messed up the church's money.
Yo. It's your boy, Wayne J. And of course, I got something to say. I got my co-host Diddy with me today.
What up?
Like always, it's been a minute, you know what I mean? But we right back at it as usual. Got a special guest today on Broken Knobs, man. He come to break the knob. The knob.
Turn it up to the max.
Man, got a story, got a journey, man, that he'll be able to tell you and walk you through, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself to the people, man, you know. And we finna get this thing cracking.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Matt Vaughn. Some of you know me as Bubba, you know. So while I'm here, I like to put that out there. That's a name I don't like anymore. I want to get away. Yeah, I want to get away from that. So, but yeah, Matt Vaughn. Yeah, from the hilltop for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Top.
Know it.
So, man, look, we always, we believe, you know, we cut right to the chase, man, on Broken Knob, man. We get right to it. You know, ain't no sense of fumbling around, you know. Yeah. And that's what we do, man. So we gonna start, man, for those who don't know, you know what I'm saying? This man, you know, I'll be able to tell you an interesting story, man. We gonna start with the youth. And your upbringing, you know what I'm saying? You see you from the hill, I know you people, you got phenomenal people, man. Mr. Vaughn, your mother, you know. Let us know, you know, what your youth was like, your childhood was like.
Well, you know, unfortunately, at a young age, I took a bad turn. And, well, hold on, let me start right here. So, like you said, you know, I was raised by some great parents. You know, I had a solid foundation. You know, I was set to be placed on a pedestal, you know, to do great things. My parents are wonderful. My grandparents are wonderful on both sides. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in a 2-parent home, so that foundation is there. But unfortunately, you know, I decided to make a different choice in life. You know, I didn't, the things that my parents try to put into me to set me for the rest of my life, I didn't want that. So, you know, I decided to step out in the streets. And, you know, I had a late start getting into the streets, but I took that path around 12 or 13. You know, instead of me, you know, going to school and choosing that path of education and, you know, doing like normal kids do, I decided to head to what we know as the richest street, you know, and hang out on that part of town out south. And I think that's where I became unconscious.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I mean unconscious is I was taken away from my upbringing. You know, I was more susceptible to the peer pressures that was in front of me at that time. You know, the drugs, chasing the women, the girls, not women, but the girls at the time, the fast cars that the young brothers had. You know, I was infatuated. I was inspired by that. You know, I wanted that. You know what I'm saying? And it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So all of those things, and I have to say a healthy combination of all of those, is what led me to be an unconscious soul here in Springfield. So
At that young age of, you say you stepped out there around 12.
12.
Like at that time, like did your parents, did they know what you were doing, or was that something that you was hiding from them?
No, they knew. My parents knew. And let's make no mistake about it, they fought. They fought hard, you know what I mean? But at that moment in time, you know, my mother, there was nothing she could do to discipline me. My father was a truck driver, so he was away. He was away providing, you know what I'm saying, to furnish everything that we needed. I didn't want for anything in life. I just wanted more, you know what I'm saying? So my father, he was doing what a man does, providing for his family, you know, in the trucking industry. So that left my mother as a young man, as a young child. You know, I still rebelled, you know, against her authority and stepped out anyway. So yeah, they knew. And, you know, at that time, when I would, you know, get off into certain things, you know, my mother would find out. My father called home every single day. I don't care if he was in Canada or California, he would call home every day. She would, of course, tell him what I have done, what went on. And when he come home Saturday night to go to church Sunday morning, I would catch that rapture if I was there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they knew. Yeah, they knew. But you know,
Do you think a lot of your behavior was because your father wasn't there a lot? He was always on the road, so you just feel like, I don't have a male figure here, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do.
I think that yeah, pretty much. But you know, I'm not gonna sit here and blame that on my father.
Right,
you feel
right.
me? My father's an outstanding man, the strongest person I know. You feel me? So with that being said, if he was, you know, so I caught those butt whoopings. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's just what we grew up in. You know, our generation. You know, we got whooped as kids, unlike the kids today. So I caught those butt whoopings, mostly probably like once a week. You know what I'm saying? But the other days. So what I'm saying is, if he was there, nah. You know, nah. Yeah. And then it got to the point, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it got to the point, my dad had told me one, it's like, man, if you could go out there, hang out on the street, you can go to church on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he was putting that work in. He even sent me off, you know, to the country to be with my family, some of the guys, and hoping their influence would, you know, put locks on me and straighten me up. So yeah, they tried, man. They tried everything. I just think at that moment in time, what was going on here in the community in Springfield, out south, and the hilltop, it was just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit too much. Negative influences. Yeah, negative influences. And you know, being at the age of 12, 13, 14, you know, we as young men were very impressionable. So it don't take much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat things like Springfield, you know, it's like, you know, Chicago or California or New York.
Right.
But those things that was going on here is impressionable at the time to a young mind, especially if you're unconscious. You know what I'm saying? You out here running wild and you seeing the drugs being sold. You seeing the dope boy come up the street, the hustlers with 2-3 different women on various days. So, you know, that leaves an impression on you. Like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you seeing the guys with the nice clothes? You know, that I want that.
You say 12, 13,
12,
14.
13,
This
14.
is the 80s. This is in the 80s.
Yeah, it's in the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the 80s, man. You know, I used to tell guys a lot, man, you know, this is a harsh reality, even for myself. You know, of course, you know, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Of course, everybody knows that I've just been released from incarceration. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've stayed there a very long time. But look, peep this, right? I stepped out into the streets of Springfield at the age of 12, riding a bicycle, no vehicle, just running around. I was incarcerated at the age of 18. So what that tell you? I have 6 years of memory, you know what I'm saying, where I created memory outside of my front porch. You know what I'm saying? So I have more memories of being incarcerated than I do as a free man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a harsh reality, but it's a reality that'll humble anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It most definitely humbled me, you know, with this second chance that I have. But yeah.
So I try to do a little homework on you know, this conversation before, we had it to bring it to the table or whatever.
Right.
And it's 92.
Right.
92 at the time, you know what I'm saying, you was incarcerated, or, the events that led up to you being incarcerated.
Right.
That day, that morning, you woke up. It's a normal day for you as a man, as a young man. You know what I'm saying? How old are you at this time?
I'm about to turn 19.
You're about to turn 19.
A couple of months from my 19th birthday. Yeah.
And you wake up, it's a normal day.
Normal day, man.
And you just going through the motion.
And the crazy part about it, I was supposed to be in church that day. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on the porch. The memory that I have, I'm not going to put the guys on blast, but the guys, some of the partners I was running with, they pulled up and asked me, did I want to ride to Clarksville? That's the worst mistake ever. When I got inside that car, went to Clarksville, and that night, you know what I'm saying? Me and the brother at Fabco, I worked with him, you know what I'm saying? We was just talking about this. He was like, man, that night we got to fighting in the parking lot. See, I can't even remember this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Got to fight?
Nah, we got to fighting with some guys. Oh. And I can't even remember this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I rode to Clarksville with him. I can't even remember this stuff. That shows you the level of how unconscious I was. You know what I'm saying? Just out here running, just thugging, just living, just doing whatever. I can't even remember this stuff. But we got to fighting that night in the parking lot. And it was 4 of us from Springfield. We fighting some Clarksville guys. And I decided not to come home. Worst mistake ever. You know what I mean? 30 years later, I finally get to come home. You know what I'm saying? And, I touched base on that. That made me feel some kind of way too. But, having guys that you grew up with kind of not, just, really not just, help you along your way. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it like that. For you guys that
I know what you're saying.
Understand. Yeah.
So you was away for 30 years?
30 years, brother.
Man, how has it been difficult? I'm pretty sure it has been difficult trying to adjust to how things are now compared to how they were back then. So when you first touched down, like remembering how Springfield was then and seeing how it is now, like what shocked you the most about what has changed the most about Springfield?
It's negative. What shocked me the most is something that's negative. It's nothing that's positive. It's not about the progression that has transpired here in Springfield. It's not about the progression at all. It's the negative aspect of Springfield. Springfield's like a ghost town. During my time when I was raised, you had the kids in the streets playing, even if it was just outside enjoying Mother Nature. Springfield is like a ghost town. Mm-hmm. You ride through, there's no basketball courts. There's nothing for the kids to do in general. And it's sad. It's sad. Even though we had those negative influences when we was coming up, we were still able to go outside and play.
And just like you said earlier, you said you jumped out when you was 12 on a bicycle. No vehicle, bicycle. You don't even see kids riding bicycles.
Nah.
It's different.
It's extremely different.
It's different now.
It's extreme.
They closed in.
Yeah.
Boxed in.
Technology, video games and all that. They don't want to do anything anymore.
It's nothing, man. It's just like a ghost town, bro. It's extremely sad to see Springfield fall by the wayside like this. I rode past Brownsville. I see they don't manage to tear that down. That's sad as well. But yeah, man, there's nothing going on. It's nothing. With the kids being so, like I said, young and impressionable, they're getting what they see from technology, social media. It's just crazy, man. It's extremely sad. Yeah.
When you was going through back and forth to court on your ordeal, and the judge decided to sentence you for that long, the thought process.
Man, it broke me down, man. It hurt, to see. I've never seen my dad cry. But he shedded a tear. Mm-hmm. And to see the strongest person I know cry, it made me, and I'm trying to hold this back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not understanding the full gist of what just transpired. You know, I got this lawyer. Now let me back up a little bit, cause I had a public defender, and me being so ignorant to the law, my public defender sat me down at the table, and he put a bowl of Skittles in front of me. Just think about that. A bowl of Skittles in front of me. And them folks, I'm gonna say railroaded. Now, don't get me wrong, I take full accountability for what I done. Yeah, I done what I done, you feel me? And I deserve to be punished for what I done. I served my time. I've never disputed me doing what I've done. I done that. Some of the circumstances surrounding that situation is not correct, but yes, I'm responsible for that young man's death that night, and I take full accountability for it. But moving forward, the way the judicial system handled that situation, now that I know, at the time I was ignorant, but now that I know, was completely horrible. It should be criminal. Because them folks set me down as a young man at the age of 18. I don't know anything. They put these Skittles in front of me. They talked above my head. They used words that I couldn't comprehend. It was a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was like a collegiate circus for a young black man, a young uneducated black man. I didn't know anything what was going on. My parents, them, do I have to say? Right. It's like they come from a different time era. So, but yeah, man, it was a pretty traumatic event, and it had a little effect on me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I remember my dad telling me, he said, take care of yourself. And that stuck with me. That's all I needed to hear. Take care of yourself. Right. So, I done what I had to do while I was in prison to take care of myself. I had the mindset, I'm gonna refuse to let anybody take advantage of me. Right. I'm gonna refuse to be used and abused. I'm not gonna let anybody take anything from me, and that come from my dad. Right. Yeah.
So when he told you take care of yourself, you knew without him really saying what he wanted to say, you knew exactly what he meant. Yeah. Now
mind you, my dad's a Christian. You know what I'm saying? My whole family are Christians. But when he told me take care of myself, I knew what it meant. Yeah.
So were you found guilty, or did you just?
No, I was found guilty, man. I didn't have this mindset when I went to trial. When I went to trial, I wanted to beat this thing, even though I done what I done. And I still was like, I was in denial. I didn't do this. Yeah. Nah, of course not. But as I matured later on in life, I take accountability. But at that moment, I went to trial and I wanted to beat this thing. I was trying to get low. I was made no offer. Immediately it's just like, you're going to get a life sentence or you're going to get to go home. Well, I'm like, okay. Well,
take your chance on going home, right?
Yeah, I want to go home. You feel me? I want to go home, but...
Where was your first stop? When you first got on that bus and entered the penal system, what was the first prison you
The very first prison, it was me and my cousin, my first cousin. It's my pop's nephew. And we got off the bus together at Lake County Corrections Facility. And that's way at the tip of Tiptonville, Tennessee, as far as you can go before you cross the state line. So, and that was a mistake. I wasn't supposed to go there. I got off the bus at the wrong facility and I wasn't supposed to be there. This is a minimum security facility. So I felt like, that was kind of like God, because where I was supposed to went, it was completely chaos. Mm-hmm. It was a facility designed to warehouse young men from the age of 18 to 24 with no education, just wild. And the majority of them are from West Tennessee, Memphis, around that area. And it was wild. So I was blessed. but that was taken away from me. That was taken away from me because
explain that how it was taken away.
Well, I feel like I was still making bad decisions at that time. You know, mind you, I just received a life sentence at the age of 19. I don't know when I'm going home. Only thing they told me is my release eligibility date is at 2036. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see that far. I can't see that far. I can't envision that at that age. So I continue to make unhealthy decisions. So when I was at this minimum security facility, I wound up getting into altercation with a math teacher. Here it is, I'm still being rebellious towards education. Didn't want to hear it. I'm not going to school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going home. I'm not going to school. Right. So I had an altercation, which kind of got physical. And I was locked up while being locked up. Placed in isolation, in the hole. Yeah. Segregation. So I was given segregation for several days. And that's when they transferred me and sent me where I was supposed to go. So I got back on the chain bus, wound up going to Northwest Correction Facility, which was called the Thunderdome. Mm-hmm. And that's where I experienced the majority of my trials and tribulations as a young man. Yeah.
I was at
Northwest Corrections Facility.
Yeah. How long did you spend at the minimum security?
Man, I stayed there less than 3 months. Mm.
So 3 months. Did they know that they made a mistake and sent you there?
Yes.
And they just let you stay there?
Yes. It was this young lady, she was an older lady. Her name was Miss Moore. And she was a case manager. Old sweet lady, you know what I mean? Heart good as gold. And she set me down, she said, Mathis, I'm gonna keep you here. I'm gonna give you a chance. And I screwed that. I screwed that up. Yeah.
So you think if you wouldn't have screwed it up, you think you would have been probably even released a lot sooner?
No, because that time had to be served. Mm-hmm. I had to serve that time. And, you know, I kind of blame some of this on the judicial system, on the public defender's office. Because they was telling me this entire time, okay, you have to serve 25 years, you can come home. Well, that still set my release eligibility date at that time up in like 2036 or whatever, somewhere around there. I couldn't see that. But what they wasn't telling me is I had to stay out of trouble and earn my good days in order to come home in 25 consecutive years. So I never was told, and that probably would have changed everything. So when I got to this Northwest Corrections Facility, man, I was thugging. Yeah. Yeah. That's when my gang life come into. It was a lot.
How was the gang culture?
Man, the gang culture at that moment, it was very different. Yeah. It's nothing like what you see now. You know, I have to go all the way back to 89. That's when I was first exposed to the gang. Mm-hmm. But it was extremely different. Yeah. You know, guys, there was a lot more understanding amongst the gang members. There wasn't a lot of what you see now. Guys, gangs being part of different gangs, you know, young men being caught up in several different gangs. And it was, I have to say it's worse. You know, the repercussions were worse then. I mean, you subject to lose your life. Right. For something that was considered to be unloyal. Yeah, it had major repercussions. Yeah, and you know, I've seen guys stabbed. I've seen guys have to go to protective custody. I've even seen guys lose their life, all because of the gang culture. And you know, it was pretty bad, man.
So you
pretty bad.
You getting involved in the gangs, was it you got involved, was it you did it, was it like a form of protection for you? Like what made you get involved?
It wasn't protection for me because I feel that I was able to take care of myself. People have to understand at that moment in time what was going on within the culture with us as young men. It was all about where you from. You know, it's the Ville with me. oh, it's Memphis with me. So that was what was going on at that moment. And all of it come to the prison. It's there as well. Yeah. So Memphis, Nashville, Memphis, Jackson, Memphis, Chattanooga, no one gets along. So you stick with your kind. Now, mind you, I'm not from the Ville. I'm from Springfield, straight off the hilltop. But when these altercations go on with these brothers from West Tennessee, these brothers from East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee brothers getting into it, I was looked at as if I'm from Nashville. I'm from Middle Tennessee. But if you're from Memphis, you don't know where I'm from. You just know it's the Ville, even though I'm from Springfield. So when I would have these problems with individuals, you know, whether it be on the basketball court, under the weight shed, the kitchen, going to school, I had guys from Nashville coming to me. Look, bro, you all right? Yeah, I'm straight. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So this is where that, for me, you know, this is where it come in for me. It was, it wasn't about protection. It wasn't about protection. I like to tell brothers that, you know, guys from Memphis push me on what I'm on now. You know, a majority of the brothers that's from Nashville, they were affiliated with the Crips. And that's what my affiliation was, the Crips. And the majority of the brothers from West Tennessee is considered to be GD. So that's where my affiliation come from. You know, I was pushed that direction. You know, I was comfortable with being just Bubba from the hilltop. Right. You know what I mean? But I can't fight 1,500 people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I most definitely was comfortable with just being me. Yeah, but it was complicated, man.
Your very first altercation, that experience.
My very first, and this was before I was affiliated. You know, I get into it with some guys playing dominoes. You know, a table game, and I was game. You know, I was fighting 3 individuals. You know, I can't fight 3 people, and you know, it's kind of traumatic. I hate it. And I remember those 3 individuals today. I don't know how I would react if those brothers walked through the door. I don't know. I can't say. You know, and they got the best of them. You know what I mean? And I had a brother from the Ville asked me, look, homie, you straight? You want to go get the one? I'm like, yeah, most definitely. I want my get back. I'm not finna let these dudes do me like that. Because I know if it starts and you don't take care of your business, it's going to continue. You know what I mean? It never stops. It never stops, man. And it keeps coming and coming and coming. So, yeah. And those brothers wouldn't fight me one-on-one. They had to gang me. You know what I mean? Had to. So, you know, I never forget that, man. And it kind of like built me from there. That built me, you know, to the point where 1995 is when I made the decision to become a member of the Crips at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, that built me. You know, that I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad. Yeah. You know, I'm glad it happened because that exposed me to a lot mentally. You know, I'm glad it happened, man. I really am. Most definitely, I'm grateful for that. Yeah. And it sounds crazy, but yeah, I'm glad that happened, man.
So I know you probably saw a lot of people that came into the prison system and they probably didn't want to have any dealings with the gangs or whatever and tried to stay out of everybody's way and just serve that time and go home.
It don't happen like that, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, I don't know. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna be real. It don't happen like that. Yeah. A lot of times, so look, we all know somebody that's incarcerated. It's like COVID. We all know somebody. Everybody's affected. We all know somebody that's incarcerated. A lot of time when guys call home, they receive these calls from their uncles, brothers, homies, or whatever. They glamorizing, glorifying, you know, what's going on it. It's not going down like that. You know, I'm gonna give it to you raw and uncut, man. Yeah, I mean, you might have a few phones here and there. You might have contraband, but I'm telling you, dude, time is hard. It's hard up in there, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that comes to prison, excuse me, you're gonna be tested to some degree. You know, now, if you pass, I mean, yeah, you good. but to some degree, you're going to be tested, especially depends upon the charge that you have. But there is going to be a test. You know, you're going to have guys come at you sideways. You're going to, people say things that's offensive. You know what I mean? You're going to have people see how strong you are as an individual. And if you don't address it, if you don't stop it, you're going to be one of those persons that's not going to be able to have anything.
Right.
You know, your things in your room going to come up missing. They're going to be taken. You're going to be holding things for the gangs, contraband, knives, homemade shanks, phones, and yeah, it's bad. It's real.
So basically, you know, you got to be standing on business at all times.
You got to be standing on business.
You're gonna be somebody pushover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong. It's not violent all day, every day, but you can't predict anything. You know, you have most housing units, you have anywhere from 150 to 200 people. So you have up to 200 different personalities, and you never know what a man wakes up on. So if you consider to be a weak link in that housing unit, you susceptible to anything that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? So, young man might wake up and feel like that he want to engage in homosexuality. You might be the victim. You know what I mean? A young man might feel like, something has transpired and he need to clean his room up. So every contraband is considered contraband, drugs, cell phones, deadly weapons, knives, whatever it is, you're going to be the person to hold that for that moment. You know what I mean? And God forbid you fumble. God forbid you fumble. Something happened. You're going to what we call protective custody. Well, excuse me, not what we call, what they call protective custody. And you're going to be there for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the old days. You can go there, couple of months, get transferred to other facility. Just leave your problems behind. It doesn't work that way anymore. Guys got phones now. So what happened at this facility is going to be known before you get there. Mm-hmm. As soon as you get off the chain bus, it's going to continue. So yeah, it pays to be able to, be on the business. Take care of yourself. It pays.
How do inmates get the info of an incoming inmate? Like how do they know what the charges are that this incoming inmate? How did they get that information?
So, there's websites for that. The government will tell you. The government puts this out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put this on blast. You go to Tennessee 4, you find who you need to find. What type of charge it is they have. It's out there. And if I'm incarcerated, I got this phone. I got you. Mm-hmm. I know your business. You know what I'm saying? I know your pressure points. I know how to come at you. You on Facebook. You on TikTok. I got your business. I know who you is. You know what I'm saying? And I can take advantage of you from that point. Everything I need to know, you just told me, because I got this phone. You see what I'm saying? Everything can be discovered. So it's there. It's there. It's just a matter of, finding the phone, having the resources to get a phone. Pretty expensive, but it's a good investment. Good investment.
What about, let's talk about, did you ever run into like anybody that you knew personally, over your years coming in?
I most definitely did. It wasn't a lot of guys that I served my time with from Springfield, but yeah, a couple. For the most part, guys from Springfield, pretty solid. Yeah. Pretty solid brothers. It wasn't any. I'm gonna have to say I've never seen a person from Springfield be taken advantage of. Just straight up, just like, oh man, this dude here soft as, I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? Now there has been guys that come in, have some reservations, about moving forward, taking care of their business out of fear of the repercussions of a gang. You know what I mean? Now, at the time, by me being affiliated, I would, and don't even worry about that, homie. You want this one? We can get this one. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always Springfield or nothing with me. You feel me? So I got to look out for my home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I have to be honest, man. Guys from Springfield, you know, pretty much held it down. And please don't get it misconstrued. I'm not glorifying prison. I'm not. That's not. Nah. I'm just telling you what the truth is.
They did what they had to do to survive.
Yeah, for people that's having curiosity.
Was it ever a situation that you experienced where it was somebody from the hometown that was into something that you couldn't get involved in?
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question. It was a friend of mine, and I'm not going to call names. I'm not going to put a name on it, but I'm just going to throw it out there a little bit for the people who know. It was a young man that was with me the night that I caught this charge. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But we were a part of two different affiliations, and some things transpired at this facility, Northwest Corrections, that I couldn't help him. I couldn't help him, man, all because of my affiliation and his affiliation. Now, I watched the brother almost lose his life. You know what I'm saying? He was gang by like 13, 14. Man, I can't even count. But they was hitting the brother with pipes. They stabbed the brother. They was kicking the brother. I'm seeing the brother laying next to a flower bed, unconscious, with his arms stiff in the air. You know what I'm saying? And here it is, I have to stand here on the side. And I couldn't help him because of my affiliation. And I'm a young man at this time. I'm new in this affiliation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had orders that I had to abide by too. I had to, suffer the consequences myself. But it was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
Nothing I could do, man. And, kind of like that tore me apart. You know what I'm saying?
Was that one of those situations where you knew it was going to happen to him? And so did they already give you the word that